Sometimes like all you want to do is run. Hear me out, hear me out. If all the things you never show, there are the things I want you to know. Secrets start in your heart to slow. But if you don't want to tell me now, I guess I'll never know. Losing almost all my energy. It's getting hard to talk to you, and I'm the only one who speaks. It's all the things you never show. There are the things I want to know. Secrets start in your heart to slow. But if you don't want to tell me now, I guess I'll never know.
Hey everyone, welcome to the live, an early live, an unexpected live. Hey Charmaine, and Travis is in the house as well with us. So
Hi.
thank you guys. Yeah.
Hey there.
Thanks, Travis. So just before we start anything, I want to say to Daniel from the Drunk Turkey Show, because he had asked us to join his live. I said I didn't have time today because I had so much I was doing, and we're doing a Sebastian live in a few hours as well. And I know Aspen Connor wanted to be here, but he's at work. So the only time I could even possibly do this was pretty much now. And so thankfully Travis is able to join us. And honestly, I don't even know what to say, because I was just trying to work on what I thought was Sebastian stuff today, and some documents are coming in for Delphi, and then it's like exploding everywhere. So we're going to, of course, go through that stuff, the documents, and then some of these correspondent letters as well. But anyways, thank you guys for joining.
No problem.
Okay, let me just turn up my volume here. So I guess what? I feel like an octopus right now. So
Right.
so if I seem just a little bit kind of, it's because I am. But we'll start first with the court having reviewed the defendant's motion for early trial, now grants the trial and sets the jury trial on May 13th to May 31st at 8:30 a.m. And I know that Charmaine and Aspen are trying to work out some details, because hopefully they should be there for that trial date as well. And I know Charmaine's birthday's just like on the 19th of May there. So to me, this is like would be the cherry on top for your birthday, wouldn't it?
It definitely wouldn't have been in the plan, but I would not decline a trip to do this for my 50th birthday. I think it would be quite the experience.
Are you going to go?
I'm really considering it. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to stay for the entire trial, obviously, but definitely, try to go for a few days at least to Delphi and meet something.
Where does your birthday fall on that?
On weekend.
On the weekend, but because I don't know, here my birthday always falls on the long weekend. But I mean, I could take like a week or even a couple of weeks off, or 10 days or something, but
yeah.
So the first weekend in between those 2 weeks.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. And it happens to be a long weekend as well.
Yeah. I was thinking about going to Mexico, but I would rather do this. So we'll see.
Yeah.
So it's May 13th, 2 days before the deadline starting. And so that kind of puts an end to all of the speculation and whatever about that, I would think.
What about jury selection, Travis? What do you suspect we'll see for that? Because juries
Well,
being called for that.
those days are included in that.
Oh,
So
okay.
they got to get cracking if they want a questionnaire, and get cracking if they want individual voir dire. We can't see the witness list and the exhibit list, so we don't know, how many witnesses. We don't know if it's even realistic. That's enough time. I assume it is, but it could take a couple of tree days to pick a jury, depending on how they're going to allow the parties to do it. If they do a questionnaire, it saves a lot of time. If they don't, then that prolongs it, unless the court gives an unreasonable amount of time to each side. And that's, more error that's built in. But right now, those that I'm assuming it's 10 trial days, right? Monday through Friday, and then Monday through Friday.
That's right.
So those days include jury selection.
Do you think that this trial will get done in 10 days, including jury selection?
Have no idea. No idea. But it usually creates a crunch for the defense. Not always. The state uses more time than they estimated, and then it's like, okay, put your defense, put your case on in a day and a half, and the stuff gets worked out. I mean, 2 weeks is, that's a significant amount of time. Allow for experts and whatnot. And I'm thinking, without seeing the total number of witnesses and what all's listed in terms of exhibits, that 2 weeks should be enough, but I just don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Did you like it, Todd? Did you like it?
I don't think he did.
Okay.
It's just my guess.
So there's I guess both sides. I don't know what the state filed something earlier, fairly similar to that, saying that they had filed a list of exhibits.
Let's see here.
And witnesses. And so maybe that previous one was for the contempt hearing, and this one is for the trial.
I got freaking.
But we don't need to figure that out now. And then the defense filed something nearly identical to that. So I'm assuming the discovery cutoff date for trial for both parties was the 8th. And they've both filed their notice of compliance, saying that they sent the other side a list of witnesses and exhibits. And then the defendant's notice does the same thing. They turn over a witness exhibit list to the state, outlining the witnesses the defense may call and the exhibits the defense may use at trial. Defense may supplement the list if new witnesses or exhibits are obtained. And then they added a paragraph about volume of discovery. Is probable there may be discovery that the defense is yet to discover. In fact, the defense continues to received discovery as recent as March 1st. Although not really, kind of, sort of. This is the problem when the judge refused to set the contempt as a separate case number with a criminal case number. This is the problem it creates. The contempt is under Richard Allen's criminal case, even though it doesn't involve him directly. It's alleged contempt on behalf of Rosie and Baldwin, and so is discovery in the contempt case also considered discovery in the criminal case? I think there's good argument there is, because there's just one case number. Anyway, I think that's what that's going to. And then they note that their representation was suspended between October 19th and January 18th, essentially 2 months. Uncertain what discovery was generated by the state and received by former counsel.
That's
They're just trying to leave themselves wiggle room. But I got the sense, just an assumption, that they were kind of holding off on filing the 70-day speedy trial motion because of these discovery things, and the fact that they filed it here a few days ago. If there's something in there and that they overlooked, and now they want to use it, and the judge denies it, I think they're going to be hard pressed to show that some sort of error that an appellate court can look at. But you do what you can to give yourself some wiggle room to show, extenuating circumstances or good cause. So that's everybody got their witness and exhibit lists in, and what are we up to now?
Well, I'm no, like I said, so do you want me just to show each one? And because they're not very long.
No, I don't want to read them.
They're not very long. Like,
I know. Let's get to the part. Yeah, people don't care about this stuff. Let's get to the juicy stuff. We don't need to read that stuff.
Okay, what juicy stuff do you want?
Trust me, if you want to read it, let them know where they can go and read it. I mean, it's pretty simple. I read the important parts.
Yeah, and I think that, no, I totally agree. There's a lot that I think people don't know about.
So those two things we just went over. There was this discovery deadline today that the court set, and said that both sides had to exchange list of witnesses and exhibits, and they both did it.
Right.
So they're up to speed on that.
1 second here. I hate it when things come in and they're filed. Let's see here. What's number 5? Oh my goodness. I hate it when I was trying to relabel them.
But if anybody in chat has a question about either of those two documents, please put it in chat and I'll come back to it. Okay, what's next?
Jen actually wants to know if we will see those lists before trial, assuming not.
If what?
If we will see those lists before trial?
No.
Okay. 1 second here. Okay, so this is just simply the one that says the motion for a discovery deadline. So when you say you want to get to the juice, Travis, are you talking about the correspondent things? Like
Yeah, I mean, okay, so you already covered that one. They've filed a motion to extend the discovery deadline. I can't remember how long ago, saying about the volume of the materials and this is just confirmation of the fact that the judge denied it back on March 7th.
Okay. 1 second. I'm just looking for too many files. Which one's this one? Okay. And that one was on the 8th. Trying to find what's Fig's one labeled, Charmaine? I'm having a moment with that one. Which order is that?
Labeled? It wasn't. It was just the to and from correspondence to and from.
Yeah, but it wasn't labeled that.
It is in what I saw. It is. It's exactly what it's labeled as. It is. Holy crap! It is correspondence to from court filed PDF.
Oh, that one up there, I think. Correspondence to from court. I think that's the one. Yes. Thank you. Oh, I hear you doggies.
Puppies.
Okay.
Hey. Okay, let me.
Poor Travis. Okay, so this is the one. This is, of course, Gary Baudet, which is Fake Solves. Says, my name is Gary Baudet, a resident of California and a small business owner. I am writing concerning the ongoing proceedings in the above referenced case. I have been falsely implicated by the defense, and I wish to clarify my stance and present the truth. I must unequivocally state that
don't give these crazy people a platform by reading this whole thing. Let's dig in. Let's dig into the meat of this stuff. So let me get that one. My name is Gary. Got that one.
Okay, so I have.
That's the least juiciest of them. So let's talk about first. So we had three YouTubers, Gary Baudet, and
So we have Gary. I have Greenos, Anthony Greenos, Frank. I have Frank West, whatever his name is, and then there's the Wendy Gibbs, I believe it is, which is part of the county clerk court.
I don't know if I got that one. I got
No.
There's Melanie Gibbs, and she is just the court person and it was just a really short email telling Fig where to send his.
Oh yeah. That was Gary filed it in the wrong state, right? He filed it in Carroll County, Georgia.
Yeah.
And they that the clerk in Georgia sent an email to everybody saying you're in the wrong state. Okay. All right. So all of these got filed today, March 11th.
Yeah, but
wasn't Figs done yesterday though, or was it? I don't even know.
Well, it was. We got it today, but my thing is this on this one, Travis, is that there are people that have not seen these and would like to know.
We're going to highlight what's important, though. We don't. It take an hour to read all of this, and it just doesn't need to be read. We'll just go through the important stuff. But the first question is, how is it that these three things all got filed on the same day?
Okay.
Do we know? I mean, these people obviously know each other and decided to do it.
They obviously did. I failed here. That's exactly what I was going to say. Like, all of a sudden, everyone did they all band together and go and talk to each other and said, you know what? Like, did they have like a group kumbaya or something and say, here, let's all send in these letters? And as for Frank, his name was Frank, not Frank Meister, but the other Frank. He wasn't even involved in on the witness list. Like, his name wasn't even on there, and yet he involved himself. So what's like? I don't. What we're trying to figure out, Travis, is first of all, like what does this all mean?
So read the first paragraph. My name is Gary. Read that one.
Biggs was filed on Friday, Turbo Time Sun. Sorry, say that again, Travis.
Where you're at, please read that first paragraph that starts with "My name is Gary Bodette."
Okay, my name is Gary Bodette, a resident of California, a small business owner. I am writing concerning the ongoing proceedings in the above reference case. I have been falsely implicated by the defense, and I wish to clarify my stance and present the truth.
Okay, where have they been falsely implicated by the defense?
Well,
I think in the, what was it, the witness or the exhibit list for the contempt hearing that we talked about the other night, kind of, where they had listed they didn't include any of the evidence, and you said we haven't seen any of that. Do you remember?
So yeah, oh yeah, I know,
Yeah.
I know,
I
I
figured
know
you would.
exactly what you're referring to, because that's not an implication of anything. It's a list of exhibits and potential witnesses. So, you know, there's a common theme here in these three that we'll go through that I don't, you know, they obviously think this thing's about them. It's not, but I have been falsely implicated by the defense, and I wish to clarify my stance and present the truth. I guess one of these mentions defense diaries and some.
that's
other.
Frank's, Little Frank. We'll call him Little Frank.
Okay.
You want me to pull that one up?
Now let's go through this one. Okay. Then the next paragraph, I was not involved in any strategy to disseminate crime scene photos. I never saw any suggestion of that whatsoever. I mean, it's pretty clear that what the defense's position on this has been since October 12th, and certainly by the 31st, what happened and how. It is imperative to highlight that there has been acknowledgement from the defense side that the leaks of crime scene photos originated within their team. Like the judge isn't going to know that. The campaign to associate me with these leaks is not just baseless, but maliciously intended to divert attention from their own admitted responsibility. Again, I don't know where they're getting, but Sonny or Charmaine, jump in here if I'm missing something. The campaign to associate me with these leaks is not just baseless, but maliciously intended to divert attention from their own admitted responsibility. What's the campaign? Are you guys are up on this case?
All I see is a lot of all I'm reading in this one. I read this one. I haven't read the other two. Again, we have another one, right? Anthony Grinos, and he's in the chat there as well. He said that he decided to write in about a week ago when he saw his name on the thing. So his name was on the list. I don't know. All I see is a bunch of words. To be honest with you, like it's, obviously.
Well, I do too. But are you all aware of a campaign? They don't come right out and say the campaign. The defense is doing a campaign. Again, this is about them. Apparently, in social media, there's a campaign to associate me. So, are they insinuating that the defense attorneys are sending out things to YouTubers to start a campaign to associate this one's Gary
Greeno
with.
says, Travis Greeno says, yes, the unraveling is the campaign. That's a YouTube channel. That's
So are they saying the defense is part of this campaign somehow?
Charmaine. I don't know. I mean, how did you take this all, Charmaine, for this? Like, I read it and it was just like,
My
So
opinion is a little bit different than a lot of people's, I think, because I am literally on the outside looking in, and I've watched all of this stuff come out over the last 6 years or 5 years or whatever. And this here, to me, is like the culmination of people picking one side or the other and thinking, or maybe having inside information and just putting out bits and pieces. And this is just kind of the consequences of that, in my humble opinion. And then you've got the defense naming people in a court filing. And this is, I'm not saying this was their chance to jump on it, but it did open the door for people to defend themselves against something that was never really there to begin with, if that makes sense. Do you know what I mean? My name was in this court filing, and now I feel like I need to defend myself, but it
right.
really meant nothing. It meant nothing to the trial. It like, that's all I care about. Any of this noise, how is this stuff today going to affect the trial?
Yeah, unfortunately, the DA felt it appropriate to file it and not file a separate action. So here we are. And, you know, Rosie and Baldwin have lead pipe, Hennessy. That's, you know, he's going to bring forth everything he can properly to put the conduct of his clients, the two attorneys, into context. And we went over, you know, when it came out that, you know, it's on both criminality and this channel that, you know, you just really can't tell from these descriptions how they might bear on issues on the 18th, if at all.
Right.
And, you know, but anyway, so, but this one, again, we're on Gary's. I must unequivocally state that I was not involved in any strategy to disseminate crime scene photos. I don't, in terms of the court, I don't think the court thinks that, and haven't seen anything change on that. I don't know. Maybe some of these folks are defensive because they provided information to Holman. I don't know. That's just speculation on my part. Allegations suggesting my involvement are not only unfounded, but are a clear diversionary tactic by the defense. So that's a direct accusation that the defense is suggesting his involvement in a strategy to disseminate crime scene photos. I've never seen that, but you know, if he's thinking that because his name, that a document was listed and the description has his name in it.
Travis, can you answer this one for Turbo Time while you're on that thought still? Travis, would YouTubers listed in all the exhibits be required to confirm on the witness stand that their channel and content is indeed theirs? That's what.
Yes, you've got to lay any witness. If you're trying to attribute, somebody's Facebook page, you've got to lay a foundation for that somehow. Either the person that operates it or whatever. You do have to lay a foundation for it. I don't suspect, because were any YouTube creators, YouTube channels, were any individuals named in that exhibit or witness list, in the witness list as witnesses?
No.
No.
Just
Okay.
have
All right. So
documents.
they can't be a witness because they haven't been named. I think these documents were listed by Hennessy after he took the deposition of, is it Holman that investigated the leak? Detective Holman?
Yes, but Turbo Time says some of the YouTubers were, but in what? The contempt or the trial?
Contempt.
Yeah.
In the contempt, yeah. In the that document with all those names of Gary, Dad.
Was he, like, I didn't know his name before this filing.
Yeah,
I didn't
so,
care enough
I mean,
to know.
Greeno's name was mentioned. Little Frank was not mentioned. There was again some others, like they were. Remember in the document it said something like potential, like they gave the names and then they mostly spoke about Fig, which is right here, Gary, about all these different information and videos that these YouTubers had, and they said the names of the ones.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you have to identify documents with enough specificity so everybody knows what you're talking about. So that would be a requirement. It's imperative to highlight there has been acknowledgement from the defense side that the leaks of crime scene photos originated within their team. That's nothing new. This campaign to associate me with these leaks, he's implying the campaigns from the defense. Apparently nobody's seen a campaign from the defense. Now I know there's a lot of infighting and, see it in every YouTube channel. When I was on criminality in the chat, saw a lot of stuff going back and forth, and had, absolutely, as usual, nothing to do with the case. It was about the drama, and this campaign to associate me as baseless and malicious. The notion that I would engage in such deplorable taxes is not only false but deeply offensive. Again, it seems to me his complaint is about other creators, but he seems to imply the defense. But let's see if at some point he gets into specific about something, or like Sonny mentioned earlier, it's just a bunch of words, ramblings. These allegations against me are gross misrepresentation and attempt to manipulate the narrative away from the factual origin of the leaks. I don't know how that's possible. It was pretty straightforward in terms of Westerman's involvement and how he got the photos if there's other stuff I don't know about. To be clear, maintain no inside connections or sources involved in this case. Maybe he's trying to clarify that. I don't know if he was one of the ones, but some of the folks in there were claiming that they somehow had inside connections. I've seen others say, I'm friends with somebody high level in law enforcement, so I know, trust me. Y'all have seen much more of that than I have. Let's see. I've maintained no connections or sources involved in this case, including but limited to the prosecutor, law enforcement, or any personnel at the court. Okay, so whoever Gary Baudet is, and whatever his channel is, now it's clear he has no inside connections or sources. And so if he is a creator, whatever information he's getting is either from other creators or, the documents that are publicly available. I wish to address specific points. I indeed contacted Prosecutor Nick McClelland upon receiving unsolicited crime scene photos, adhering to legal and ethical standards. Following his advice, I deleted these photos. This action was out of respect for the legal process and in no way indicates collusion with the prosecution. I'm kind of guessing maybe that when these three individuals saw the documents listed, I don't know yet, but this one for sure, that they panicked when they saw their name mentioned in a document, called McClelland's office, and what do I do? What do I do? And he said, well, I suggest you write a letter to the judge, maybe. I don't know. Kind of really shouldn't be advising write the judge a letter. You write the clerk a letter to be filed in the case, which was ultimately done. Following his advice, I deleted those photos, and that is going to be appropriate on these photos. If the investigation, this was all discussed in October, and that, my recollection was that they were kind of confirming what prior phone conferences did, and there were some emails confirming prior phone calls that Rozzi and Baldwin did, and they indicated in the back and forth that they had kind of isolated where the stuff was.
Since March 7th, so like a couple days ago. Turbo?
Oh, boy. Wow. It'd be 4 days ago. So I don't know what the significance that he's cut off communication 4 days ago. Anyway, I affirm I have never attempted to undermine a legal process. Again, I don't think anybody says you did. I wish to address specific points. I indeed contacted him and followed his advice. I deleted these photos. That's good, because remember, these were the folks that Judge Gull was referring to, aren't journalists. They're not protected by the privilege. and that if the detective needed to, she would be more than willing to use her contempt power to gain compliance, which is code for, you know, if I need to do a contempt hearing and order them to appear, and, you know, to gain compliance on deleting these materials, you know, I'd be happy to do it. To gain compliance, it'd be a fine and or I'm going to put you in jail until you know, agree to delete them and take care of it. The claims, next point, the claims suggesting that I've conspired with law enforcement are unfounded. That may be claims by other YouTubers. I haven't seen that from the defense. And, you know, unless it ties in directly to the defense, it's not relevant in the case. My online interactions, those on YouTube, have been misinterpreted by individuals who have targeted. Okay, so again, this is about him and YouTube drama, nothing about the case. I have solely expressed my personal opinions and categorically deny any involvement in misconduct. Next point, allegations regarding my interactions online, blah, 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 incorrectly interpreted. And he attaches a link to a Google Drive folder, compiled to document the behaviors of certain individuals mentioned in the witness list. Somebody's going to need to pull that up from yesterday or the day before.
With that, the list.
Witness list, either state and defendant. I don't know did the state file one? Or maybe the state's was the one filed earlier that said we sent lists of witnesses and exhibits. We know Lead Pipe filed a list of witnesses, but these responses were never intended to influence proceedings of the case. I wish to clarify any of my actions which have been incorrectly interpreted as factual by witnesses were actually misrepresentation of the true circumstances.
Sherman, can you send me the document from the other day that had all the names on it?
Below is linked to a Google Drive folder compiled to document the behaviors of certain individuals mentioned in the witness list. I think what he's talking about there is it was a witness list, which there was no YouTubers. Certainly Gary, Little Frank, and Greeno weren't listed as witnesses by the defense.
Is this the one right here? I'm just going to click on it and see if this is it. This one here. Is this one you're talking about, Travis? One with all these names on it?
Yeah, that'd be the one. So go to the top. Okay, so witnesses, Stephen Wood, Angela.
Sorry, where am I? Oh, right here. Angela Sadell. She's from The Unraveling. Angela Sladlowski.
Julie Melvin. Who's that?
Terry Williams. I'm not sure who that person is. I can't remember. Who was it, Charmaine, again?
Who's Julie?
Julie Melvin. She's inserted herself into Delphi since like day one. She's like a family member off to the side of Libby's. But she's just what do you want to call it? That person that puts their nose into everything out there.
Mm-hmm. And then, so there are YouTube platform people.
They're
Angela,
not named as witnesses, are they? Is this what this is?
Yeah.
The witnesses?
Yeah.
witnesses.
witnesses. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
But don't they have to be subpoenaed? And I mean, I'm really literally asking. I'm not playing stupid. I
Um,
just am stupid.
If they won't come voluntarily, then they have to be subpoenaed. Yes.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
But if they say, yeah, I'd be happy to come and tell you what all's been going on with the state.
What's a secret keeper? Okay, Julie is Cody Patty's aunt, so that's Julie Melvin, which is Cody Patty, Becky Patty, which is Libby's grandma. So Cody is their adopted cousin or whatever it is, adopted nephew. So that's where Julie Melvin, she's like, knows the family. And I'm not sure what it means by Terry Williams is a secret keeper. What does that mean? What does that mean, Anthony? On there.
Secret keeper?
Yeah, like meaning, I'm not sure. Like, I mean,
It's not
what
a
does it
content
mean?
name?
I don't know. How about I fix my camera? One sec. I'm blurry.
So yeah, we're back to square
that's her.
one on that. So I'm assuming that
Alias, that's the word. Yes, alias.
So we got a lot of folks on now. Wasn't the aunt? Isn't she attributed as a source by a lot of YouTube creators?
Yeah.
Okay, that's okay. So
She was on the documentary as well, Travis. That documentary.
yeah. That's right. Okay. Um, and so no wonder these folks are bursting a gasket. Because some of the documents that were listed, which is below, so the witnesses are just those 7: Stephen Wood, Angela, Julie, Melvin, Terry Williams. What's that first name there? Parsons, Courtney Parsons, and Matt Huffman.
He was some sort of private investigator for the defense team, I believe, Charmaine, right?
Okay.
Yes.
And then who's the one before that? Courtney?
I don't know who that is. Courtney Parsons.
Never heard of her.
Okay. So then the other things are documents.
Okay.
So to me, going back to Gary Baudet's letter,
Baudet. Yeah.
He says,
Oh, she's Yellow Jacket from The Unraveling.
Oh, interesting.
Travis. So Courtney Parsons is Yellow Jacket, like the username or whatever. And she's from the YouTube channel, the same one as Angela Sadlowski. So it's both of them.
So yeah, I agree with you. He
Thanks,
says, I wish to address specific points. Yeah, I did contact McClellan and upon receiving the unsolicited crime scene photos. And following his advice, I deleted these photos. So he's specific about that, but then everything else is just generalities and doesn't reference anything. And so it's.
Oh, Ivy. Is that Ivy? Ivy in group chat, is that you?
Yeah, that's Ivy.
Okay. 1 second then. Tell her 1 second. Hi, Ivy.
Hi, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, nice
what's
to
up?
see you.
You know we love you, girl. What's up?
I've been working in the yard, so haven't heard you guys discuss much, but I've read them at least.
Are you talking about Figs? Like you're talking about Fig, Anthony Greeno?
Yeah, like the
and
stuff you guys have been going over.
Yeah, and she's more, up on who people are than I am, anyways. I've never concerned myself with knowing who these creators are in real life. You know what I mean? They're content creators. It's not for me to know their real information. It shouldn't be.
So he sums up, really hasn't indicated anything specific. Just, is talked about a campaign, but doesn't specifically link a campaign to the defense. Below is a link to a Google Drive folder compiled to document the behaviors of certain individuals mentioned in the witness list. So that's where that comes from. Some of those 6 or 7 people have platforms or social media of some type, or are a source for social media content creators, which displays their physical threats, their willingness to alter or create communications and pass them off as authentic. Well, we certainly knew that was going on, right? And it will become obvious what the truth is, which many of these individuals who claim to be witnesses, I don't see where they claim to be witnesses. But I'm used to seeing YouTube creators create stuff out of thin air that's not there, because what's really there is drama. But many of the individuals who claim to be witnesses actually were in communication with the defense. The evidence is provided. So I don't know if the judge opened the Google forward folder or did not. If she did, that's got to go to both sides. She may just declined. I am prepared to provide further evidence and clarification as needed. I will be continuously updating the folder with more and more
I gotta go.
as time permits. And then, so if he's got direct emails that are real from Baldwin or Rosie or an employee of either one of their offices, and himself or somebody else, but chat about, oh yeah, I talked to Baldwin today. Is it really going to cut it? No more than what I was describing yesterday and the day before about the description of those documents. The only way they're going to become relevant and admissible and discussed if they're bridging context, and it somehow would make them relevant for that. I wish to express my concerns regarding unsubstantiated accusations made by the defense. Again, I don't know what he's talking about. Description of documents are not accusations, so they can't be substantiated or unsubstantiated. And kindly request the court's assistance to address. Well, judge is too busy to worry about content creator drama. And
That's
so,
why Frank's, this one with Frank on it, who wasn't even named, but decided to insert himself anyway. It's
okay,
like
let's,
that. Can you, because tell me if this is laughable or what? I'm curious. And then he brings up Bob Motta in it as well.
Does he really? I
Not
missed.
just all that. Okay. So if the judge is too busy to worry about this drama, then why did she go ahead and,
Right, put it on.
you know what I'm saying?
Why did she go ahead and what?
They weren't, well, I
it
don't
on the
even know if
docket.
they're considered like, I don't know how that works. Can anybody
You
just
mean
write
like
a
put it in
letter
the
and
record?
put it to the record?
I think you can write a letter. It depends because I've seen cases in, I think this was in a different state though, where you weren't involved in the case, so they couldn't take your like email or your letter on the record. But I've seen several cases in Indiana where somebody wrote an email or a letter and it just becomes part of the case file, basically, case record.
It just blows my mind because they're not,
But that doesn't mean
especially
that Cole has read
Frank.
them.
He wasn't named. They weren't using any of his.
I said that, but
documents, like,
my knowledge is that part of what Fig's messages that they're using are to him, back and forth with him, even though they didn't name him.
Right.
And I also find it funny that like one of his there's the Bob Motta thing that is so ridiculous. But like one of his middle paragraphs like is describing himself doing exactly what he is accusing the defense of doing. Like the
yes.
one that says, I think it's the during my investigation, it became apparent that certain content creators had access to information not yet public, suggesting direct communication to the defense counsel. Let's see, the discovery led me to provide the state with substantial evidence of external communication between these individuals. There's a discernible pattern of efforts to undermine the state, blah, blah, blah. But he's basically saying, like, I saw this stuff and I sent it to the prosecution to help them out. But I was telling on these people who sent stuff to the defense to help them out. And I'm like, you guys are all doing the same thing.
Yeah.
I don't even know what to say.
How do you? It's
Travis.
leaving me speechless. I don't.
Like, Travis, do you know who Little Frank is?
no, and I really don't care. I'm not going to get drugged down into this drama because no, the judge doesn't care about this. The attorneys could care less. And it does go state by state. You casual observer.
This just seems so.
You ask a legitimate news person, a legitimate journalist, a legitimate, what does he say? My findings during investigative research into the Delphi case and my capacity as an investigative podcaster focusing on legal and criminal investigations. Yes, any legitimate investigative journalist, if it's okay to send the judge on a pending and active case your thoughts and how things are going, how to handle if you did obtain real relevant evidence, how you deal with that. And it's not writing a letter to a judge. Now, some states, the judge will, in super high profile cases, they'll just tell the, so there's two ways to get letters to the judge. One is direct email, if you know it, and the other is with the clerk, and or snail mail to the judge's address, which they're all listed. But here, the judge will, on a high profile case, will issue an order, tell his judicial aide, court coordinator, that's the name for the judge's, I don't want to say secretary, legal assistant, admin assistant, runs scheduling, everything for the court. Anything comes related to this case, I don't want to see it, and I don't want to file it filed. Stick it in a folder, and we'll let both sides know that's what we're doing. And then after the case, if they want to look at what was sent in, or if they want me to make it part of the record, we can. But I've ordered my court coordinator, not to let me see anything. And then it just nips it off at the bud, because if you don't, then every crazy idiot on the planet that wants attention sends a letter to the judge about nothing, about how they feel they're doing on the case, or how they feel they're not doing. It's just all inappropriate. But yeah, it's crazy.
I have a question for you, Travis.
Yep.
If you were to write a letter to a judge, like in this case, and your letter becomes a part of the record, are you under the same oath, or does that not apply since you don't have to actually take the oath and everything?
Yeah, Frank.
Since I'm a licensed attorney in other states, even though I'm not a member of the bar there, if the conduct would violate something here, I don't get a pass for doing it there. And then,
what about a regular person who's not an attorney?
Then that's why you need to put in barriers and boundaries, is the buzzword these days, by saying, but you don't order the clerk to file it in the case. You order the clerk to return it as being inappropriate. Otherwise, you're just going to get more and more and more. But I don't know. I'd heard she'd handled other high-profile cases, and including death penalty cases. And I would think that this isn't the first time this has come up. Maybe it's the first time it's come up. It's very common for family to write in letters to the judge before sentencing, and they send them directly to the judge, and then the judge appropriately gives a copy to each side, and then says, look, I haven't read it. If the defense wants me to read the letter, you can let me know in open court. I'll hear from the state whether I should, because a lot of people, have family from all over, and the judge is trying to come up with the right sentencing formulation and judgment, and so they tend to like to get all the information they can, and then they give the appropriate weight to things, like if it's a family member, mother, father, brother, sister that sends in a letter. But while the case is pending, before there's been an adjudication of guilt or innocence, it's inappropriate, and the media is keenly aware of that. If somebody from the media did that, they run a substantial likelihood of not being allowed in, or their paper not being allowed in, to cover any further proceedings. You got to send another reporter. Can't have this.
Oh, sorry, my husband made me grilled cheese. Just listening to you.
I know that at least, well, Fig definitely was, obviously. His name is like half the filing, but the other ones weren't really, and they were, and I don't even think that they're referencing what either Greeno or Frank said. This is in my opinion. I think they're only focusing on what Fig said to Frank, and then what somebody on Greeno's channel said to him during that video, but those aren't like witnesses. And they don't even really know what the claim is against them either, so I don't understand how you can... What are they
So
reporting?
here's little Frank. Are we on that one, or which one are we on?
I don't even know right now.
Let me go back to Little Frank's.
Yeah, this one here is the original filing by Hennessy.
This is Little Frank's. You guys see it? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you are done with this one in a sense. It's just...
And this is, I think it's important to say, like, not to get into the discussion or whatever, but this wasn't, he didn't write this letter to back Fig up, in my opinion. I think it's pretty well known in this community that the two of them don't see eye to eye, to say it politely. So I don't know what his overall motive was for filing this today.
Which is why he originally put their messages out, even though in here he claims that he was being all sleuthy and clever about it.
Don't make me laugh, Ivy. Don't make me laugh.
Isn't the intent for all of this stuff to create more subscribers, more buzz, more drama to get more subscribers?
Some content
Definitely.
creators, especially in the Delphi case, in my humble opinion, they're in it for the right reasons. They're bringing awareness. They're trying to spread word about the case and everything else. But there are a few, obviously, that are in it for the clicks, for the views, for the subscribers. But I still don't see how he could possibly think this is going to help anything or anyone other than himself. But even in a negative light.
Yeah.
And I would go as far as to say the some are in it for a good reason, but they get so wrapped up in it that they can't see straight anymore, and they can only see it through their lens, and they lose
Yes, yeah.
kind of touch with reality and boundaries. So then when you get into a spot where you're like, these people are trying to ruin the case and let this murderer out free, they get too caught up in it, and then they're like, I have to do something about it. But what they're seeing isn't reality usually, or it's not complete reality.
Yeah. So Ivy, listen to this paragraph. I want to get your thoughts on this. During my investigation, it became apparent that certain content creators had access to information not yet public, suggesting direct communication with the defendant's counsel. This discovery led me to provide the state with substantial evidence of external communication between these individuals and YouTubers. There is a discernible pattern of efforts to undermine the state attributing to it conspiratorial behavior. Despite these individuals being active before Richard Allen's arrest, and that would include defense counsel, their inclusion on the defense counsel's exhibit list suggests a reliance on unfounded conspiracies and rumors. So what do you take from that, if anything? I mean, reading between the lines.
I feel like it's hard because I know like the history of some of this. So in my personal opinion, the stuff I'm thinking about that he has put out over the last 6 months doesn't always say what he thinks it says. So there's been things that they found. So like, for example, one thing, which this person was out in the open with it, and then it got passed around to different people, and different people were claiming that it was theirs, but it was that Paul Mannion guy, and it was a screenshot of an email where he had sent Baldwin information, and Baldwin sent him a response that said, "Thank you for sending this. We've also had other people email us about this person, blah, 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 blah." And I think stuff like that they're getting confused about that, or not. I don't know. They're seeing it as more than it is, because there's nothing wrong with that, right? If somebody sends you something and you send back an email acknowledging that, but you're not leaking information to them, there's nothing wrong with that. But I think they're taking things like that, and in their head, they think that that is misconduct.
Oh, absolutely. And I think we get to it on the next page, but there is a discernible pattern of efforts to undermine the state, attributing to it conspiratorial behavior.
He also has he's also like, English is his second language, and he has ChatGPT write a lot of things, which no shade for that at all.
Okay, all right. I didn't know that. Okay.
But he does believe that those people that there is kind of a conspiracy in a way, which is funny because he yells at them about being conspiracy theorists. But I think he believes that there's like a conspiracy of them working with the defense to get Richard Allen off, which to him is undermining the state.
Okay.
So he does believe that.
So here's something pretty telling. Furthermore, I deliberately released correspondence between myself and Gary Baudet to observe whether it would provoke a predictable response from the defendant's counsel, indicative of their broader strategy to misrepresent the case and influence public opinion detrimentally.
That's 100% bullshit, in my personal opinion.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'd be highly surprised if they're,
I watched him get mad. He has a tendency to release things when he gets upset with people. I wasn't witnessed it myself. I watched him get mad at Fig and release their messages. It wasn't a sneaky, I'm going to do this and see what people say. It was a F you, I'm going to show everybody what you've said.
Yeah.
And then looked it up.
Defense counsel isn't watching stuff between, I mean, maybe they are, but I highly doubt it. They're just too busy with other stuff. But I deliberately released correspondence between myself and Gary Baudet to observe whether it would provoke a predictable response from the defendant's counsel, indicative of their broader strategy to misrepresent the case and influence public opinion detrimentally. The statement regarding Mr. Baudet was taken out of context, not aware of my intentions, reaffirms the defense's apparent strategy to sway public perception and potentially taint a jury pool. I'm not sure gets that. It's just key figures involved in those communications include the Raveling, Paul Mannion, Angela. We saw her name,
Sadlowski.
Sadlowski, Courtney Parson, the Prof, Robin James Boudreau, Defense Diaries, Allison Mata, Bob Mata. Just
Poor Allison and Bob aren't even involved in any of this. He just doesn't like them.
I mean,
That's literally the only
it doesn't matter. They're not worried in the least. They're lawyers, and as a matter of fact, none of this is new. It was well known that Kara Winke thanked Bob and Allison about some suggestions that were made on the second original action about structural error, I think it was. I may be mistaken on that, but she publicly thanked them for their input. But unlike the typical creator, they are lawyers. They understand constitutional issues, which apply in all 50 states. They're in the circuit, Indiana, Illinois, and Wisconsin, and they're familiar with the issues and whatnot. And so I don't know. Is it going to be a social media post thanks to Bob and Allison Mata for their? I mean, it's nothing. It's what gets read into that stuff, like you were saying, Ivy. There's communications, and then the next thing, it's a campaign and all these other things. These individuals have had direct or indirect contact. Okay, well, indirect contact with opposing counsel is nothing. Substantiated by evidence I have forwarded to ISP officer Jerry Holman. Well, great. That's what you should have done with it. And maybe that's where lead pipe got him. He would have had to produce everything that was been supplied to him. And then lead pipe went through those, and maybe some of those things are listed as exhibits. I trust this information will be considered with the seriousness it warrants and will remain at the disposal of the court should clarification be required. It's just, respectfully, in my opinion, it's not, I don't see anything laid out that would make the reader of this see anything that merits serious consideration of everything. What did they want the court to do about YouTuber drama?
It's really what it is to me.
We're on the last one, which was a direct filing. So he kind of filed this as a affidavit, and to prevent this from occurring going forward, the judge can issue an order. Nothing is to be filed except by parties in the action, and the clerk should make the parties aware of what they want done with the document. There's a few different ways to handle it, but basically, nothing's going to make it into the court file. Now, I think the judge did look at it and issued an order that said this would be filed and given to the counsel for the parties. Isn't that right? Wasn't that one of the first orders? Don't go try and find it. Okay, statement of truth.
Okay, so this one you want it had. I think it's not on the docket because it will be, like the other one. So this is Anthony Greeno, True Crime Investigates channel. So I'm curious. Again, I haven't read it yet myself or anything. I actually don't know what's in it, to be honest, yet.
Okay, well, follow along with me and you'll know.
Okay.
Paragraph 1, on or about March 7th, Tennessee filed a list of additional documents and exhibits for contempt hearing on behalf of Rozzi and Baldwin. Paragraph 2, in that instrument listed as exhibits 3 and 4 are videos produced and owned by Affiant, Greeno's Crime Nation, Delphi Murders, Watch and Review, and Rick Snay on True Crime Investigates. Paragraph 3, True Crime Investigates is a YouTube channel owned and operated by Anthony Greeno. Did y'all know that?
Which part?
True Crime Investigates is a YouTube channel owned and operated by Anthony Greeno.
We are
Yes.
familiar.
He's in chat. Yep, he's here.
Okay. The YouTube channel is merely for entertainment and is recognized as a journalist media agency or wire service under Rule 2.7 of the Code of Judicial Conduct, whereby case law has consistently upheld that YouTubers and individuals engaged in freelance news reporting on platforms such as but not limited to YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, etc., are considered members of the media and are entitled First Amendment protection. Courts recognize that these platforms function as a modern day equivalent of traditional news outlets, and restrictions on reporting through these channels may violate the constitutional rights of free speech and press. Apparently, Judge Gull's on the record. She has a difference of opinion on that.
Right.
YouTubers are not legitimate journalists for purposes of the reporter's privilege, a source of information. But I agree with stated in paragraph 4, but the kind of want to cite some cases on that. I got a whole list of stuff that hold all of that, but that's why I was asking Sonny and Aspen when that stuff first came out in October, what they thought about it. And there's a contempt provision in Indiana. A reporter can be held in contempt in Indiana for falsely reporting about a hearing or trial. Now, of course, this doesn't meet that, but I thought that was quite interesting. I don't think I've ever seen a contempt statute that a reporter can be held in contempt for false reporting. Number 5. Attached are exhibits showing communication bias against Carroll County officials and collusion between YouTube crime podcasters, private citizens, and defense counsel Andrew Baldwin and Bradley Rozzi. Some of the individuals speaking in these documented screenshots are to be called as witnesses for the defense team in an attempt to shift blame of contentious conduct to the prosecutor. We don't know, like said on the other previous 2. all we see is a list of exhibits. Don't know if they'll actually be used, and we don't know what their relevance is, if any. And certainly didn't read in there that they were attempting to shift blame. It could also go for the issue of proportionality and reasonableness of anything that the judge orders if they find contempt. The exhibits include the following. Further discovery of material pertinent to the case will be submitted to the court expeditiously as it becomes available to True Crime Investigates. Mine's cut off. The next thing I show is B. Is there an A? Can someone read A? Okay. Communications between Angela, aka Mothman, Mannion, Tober, Terry Williams,
AKA Secret Keeper.
yeah, I'm just going through them quickly.
Yeah.
So, okay, B. Okay, so I got Barman McDonald from Court TV formerly, F Tree, McCluskey, Angela, D, subparagraph D, Jason Jensen and Angela, multiple communications publicly posted on Discord, Reddit, Facebook, and YouTube of Angela, defaming prosecutor Nick McClellan and Fran Gohl, public posts by members of the Delphi Knot Group, Angela, Angela says, I just like spying on him. It brings joy.
Can you pause on that one? I
What?
feel like the one you just said, it brings me joy, that one about spying on McClellan. I feel like that is a great example of this whole, maybe not the entire thing, but most of this stuff is people look at that and they say, well, obviously they're just against McClellan. But in the end, they're YouTubers. It doesn't matter. That doesn't have anything to do with like the defense and the trial. The defense could hate McClellan, but that doesn't matter as long as they're not doing anything illegal about it.
Yeah. Statement from Courtney Parsons on Reddit indicating an attorney from the defense team access and shared status of court filings, communications between Julie Melvin, Matt Hoffman about assisting with the Odinism defense. Quote, my friend, Brian James will get me info. I request about Odin. He is in many pictures with Brad Holder about Odin stuff. Was it yesterday we talked about a list of different things we should do for future shows when Sunny wasn't around?
Yeah.
That was
last
it?
And was one of them about kind of clarifying what Odinism is and the
Yes.
different. Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh, we might be in trouble because.
Are we going to get pulled in as a
Well,
witness?
look, communications between Julie Melvin about assisting with the Odinism defense. So just to make it clear,
Anthony,
we were
Reno.
not, when we suggested that as a possible theme for a future show, it wasn't about the Odinism defense. It was strictly educational purposes only to lay out the difference between Odinism and other things. Recorded interview with Connie about being asked to lie to investigators in order to push a narrative away. The defense counsel's claims against Gary Bodette are without merit.
What are they claiming about him?
didn't see any claims.
So how can you refute them if you don't know what the claims are?
Or without merit and unsubstantiated, because you know how people with a guilty conscience think, right? I mean, you don't. I mean, I don't know how many interrogations you guys have seen, but
Many.
I can't tell you how many start off with, "Do you know why we're here? Do you know why you're here?" No idea. Well,
Yeah.
do you know somebody's been found unalived? Yeah. And well, where were you between? And then the guilty conscience. Then people with a major guilty conscience start answering questions with 10 times more than you asked about. The defense counsel's claims against Gary Bodette, haven't seen any, are without merit. That's good because I don't see any, and unsubstantiated. That's probably true because there aren't any, and merely based on speculation. Should be more clear. It's a flat out lie. Respectfully, I'm not seeing any accusations from a listing of potential exhibits and their description. But
What number are you on? Are you still on 8?
edited crime scene photos of victim 1 and 2, which were shared by members. Now, I guess they didn't grab them, huh?
Travis, what number are you on? Just so I know.
I'm down to 7.
Oh,
So,
7.
So nothing up there. Number 5, attach or exhibit showing communication biased against Carroll County officials and collusion between YouTube crime podcasters, private citizens, and defense counsel Andrew Baldwin and Bradley Rosie. I don't see any documents from the descriptions that involve direct communication with Rosie Baldwin. 7, edited crime scene photos of victim 1 and victim 2, which were shared by members of Discord. Defendant counsel David Hennessy alleges Gary Beddoe shared defense work product with the prosecutor. Greena has firsthand knowledge of this incident. Now, I don't know if you saw that in any of the descriptions of the documents that Hennessy is alleging Bodette shared defense work with the prosecutor, and Bodette's not a witness.
I think it did list somewhere something about him sharing work product, but that wouldn't be the crime scene pictures, would it? Because
No,
those
he
would.
shared. Well, right, because he shared his drive, right? Is that what you're talking about?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what the work product is.
Yeah. He shared his drive with whatever information Faye had or whatever that entailed. I'm not sure. As of March 7th.
Whatever they would be, no one's going to allege that it's a problem for discovery that's covered by the gag order, if it's out,
Well, the
there's
gag order is about people.
no problem. There's no problem at all reporting it to the state and or the defense. It's or contacting Holman or just not a problem with that. So, I guarantee you Hennessy is aware of that. And so he may be alleging things about communications between Bodette and the prosecutor, but it's sure not that.
I wonder if the work product could be the outline that got accidentally sent to Woodhouse, because that would be considered a work product.
Yeah, an outline would be.
That's a definite reach on their part, I would imagine.
Number 9, affiant further states any evidence submitted by True Crime. Well, how does he speak on behalf of Bodette? Affiant further states any evidence submitted by True Crime investigates Anthony Greeno and or Gary Bodette, much of which is not publicly accessible. Was obtained by and through the leaks directly and indirectly from defense counsel representing Richard Allen. Well, then, whether it's publicly or not publicly accessible, if it was submitted to the state would have to turn that over to the defense, especially if they plan to use it. I suspect the state doesn't plan to use anything submitted by anybody other than Holman.
Travis, can I ask you a quick question?
Mm-hmm.
Just to clear this up in my head. So there was the deadline for the contemptuous court, right? Conduct, whatever it was, or for March 18th. Is that what this is for, correct? This is for that contemptuous whatever conduct hearing, right?
Yep, I guess they're hoping it is, but
But isn't it too late to submit this stuff? With the deadline already passed?
I think that was for the defense, but since they're not for the defense.
the deadline is for attorneys in the case.
Okay.
It's not for fools and idiots, to file stuff complaining about how they're being maligned in the YouTube community. But, I could easily see where, they would think, oh boy, I got a deadline, got to get it on file. No, the deadline's the deadline. Whether,
Yeah, okay.
this stuff's, how this gets dealt with, it's up to the judge whether she wants to nip it in the bud or not, or invite more of this kind of stuff.
Have you gotten to number 11 yet? Because I do have.
That's where I'm at.
Okay.
Protected under Indiana Shield law provides an absolute unqualified privilege protecting reporters from revealing sources of information obtained in the course of news gathering. But again, according to Judge Gull, that doesn't apply to you. She's already covered that months ago.
That is my question, because if that's a, see Indiana code, whatever, but can the judge stick with what she said and not consider True Crime Investigates as a legitimate journalist protected under that code and demand for him to
I don't-
reveal
I don't know if
Here's
he's
the
still using
question. Can she?
But Greeno actually had with Cat, they actually had, I believe, I don't know what they're called. You know how radio stations have those letters? Theirs was WKAT.
Right.
He
So,
may
but
actually have more things that makes him more legit in the eyes of like the court.
right, but
The
Fig
media.
would Fig and
I don't know.
like I don't know the Unravel. I don't watch or have ever watched any of their stuff. Or who's the other one? Frank, little Frank. Any of them? You know what I mean? Can the judge say, even though this clearly states, but they've also said there's no like YouTubers aren't legitimate journalists. Is that just the judge's discretion in this instance, or does she have to kind of go by? I don't even know.
Well,
Does that even matter here?
Supposed to go by it, but she said it. I mean, you all have seen that.
Yeah.
And she wasn't, she was pretty clear about it. Doesn't apply to YouTubers. If I need to use contempt, let me know. And that's in a letter from her to the attorneys. There's no chance of miscommunication on that somebody was confirming what she said and kind of got it wrong. She was sending a letter, saying, hey, I know you got investigators tracking this stuff down. And, if I need to use my contempt power, let me know. The privilege doesn't apply to them, whether.
And would it really
She
matter?
already said that. I didn't agree with it from the beginning, and I was mocking it. But apparently, some in this group, they brought out, people are being critical of the judge and critical of the DA, and that was one of the things critical about is that's interesting. She feels she can, because y'all understand what that means, right? That if
Her discretion.
if Holman found somebody and said, hey, I understand you have documents from whatever source, I don't care who, but I've tracked photos to you, and I need to get them, and I need to be able to confirm if they're in digital form that you deleted them. And they said, pound sand, then he would let the judge know, hey, I tried to do this, and they're, telling me no way. Then she'd issue a rule of contempt. Most jurisdictions call it a order to show cause, and that gets served on you. And you have to come in and appear on a certain date and time, or they can do it by attachment. And if you fail to appear, then bring you in and hold you in jail until hearing if you don't show up on the first time. But that's what that meant. This is talking about any person connected with, or any person has been connected with or employed by a recognized press association or wire service, as a bona fide owner, editorial, or repertorial employee receives or has received income from legitimate gathering, writing, editing, and interpretation of news. Oh boy, well that, so in order to show you're legitimate, you got to bring in your tax returns. Oh joy about that. Any person connected with a licensed radio or TV station as owner, official, or as editorial or repertorial employee received income from legitimate gathering, writing, editing, interpreting. That's probably her biggest thing there. She's figuring people can't show legitimate income. Of course, this statute doesn't say how much income. I mean, is $1 enough?
That would make anybody who gets super chats a member of the media, wouldn't it? And who follows and quote unquote reports this stuff.
Yeah. But it's talking about recognized press association or wire service as a bona fide owner and that you receive income. So you're either going to be part of a newspaper or part of a press association. Person described section 1 of this chapter shall not be compelled to disclose to any legal proceeding or anywhere the source of any information procured or obtained in course of person's employment or representation of a newspaper, periodical, press association, radio station, TV station, wire service. So you can't be compelled to disclose the source of information. And then, but it doesn't say you can't be held in contempt for failing to return materials covered under a gag order or a protective order, or that you can't be held in contempt for not doing so. So yeah, that statute is protects, assuming you qualify under it, can't be compelled to turn over the source, but let's see, go back to this list. I didn't see any he did voluntarily turn over, and then that's a waiver. Communications. So I guess these are communications everybody's been circulating, going up to A, B, C, communications between. So everybody that gets communications, like, you know, in this case, just assume it gets sent to everybody else, no matter who it's addressed to. And then a lot of it's just, you know, I guess trying to let the court know who's defaming the DA and who's defaming the judge. And then let's see, I like spying on them. I guess it's just an opportunity for everybody, all of these people, maybe others that we don't even know about because they filed it in different ways or did it in letters, to get out, you know, all of these things that Ivy and Sunny and Charmaine have mentioned about, you know, the evolution of this stuff building up over a long, long time, and which I describe as the drama, which I don't really see on this one or criminality or defense diaries. I mean, the moderators will let people discuss stuff back and forth as long as they're not
mean on any of them, but it's not. I'm aware of YouTube channels where it's loosely associated with a case, but it's a lot more of it, of what it is associated with the drama between different people about things, and what got said on Facebook and what got said on Twitter, or what got said, on this thing, or what got said about this YouTube creator by this YouTube content creator. I'm aware of YouTube channels where it's, 80% of that, because the case at that particular point in time is maybe it's up on appeal. And, so there's long periods of time before there's any action. So all there is drama. So yeah, he stated the reporter source privilege, which they do have in Indiana, which not all states do, but I didn't see anything, since he's not named as a witness,
Right, it was exhibits. Yeah.
that they're not going to be looking to him to turn over a source anyway. And the unprofessionalism and misconduct on behalf of officers of the court in creating an unsafe carnival-like atmosphere, but he hasn't listed anything that's direct from.
Travis, his specific comment in chat was, my entire point with this is that all the leaked information I obtained were through the witnesses the defense is using for contempt hearing to undermine the prosecutors, therefore showing bias.
The thing is, though, that they're only, unless I'm misremembering, the only thing listed in the exhibits from his channel is the stream where he reacted to the, I always forget the channel.
Crap.
The Crime Nation thing.
Well, I think all of them are going to be ignored, and
so I don't even think that's about the photos, personally.
Yeah. So.
Yes, I was going to say I need to get going soon because we have another live in an hour. But Travis, kind of like wrap your ball of thoughts about all this, and yeah, there's been we try to stay away from the drama crap of Delphi. It's honestly, it's a circus, and so hey.
So I call it the shit abyss.
I guess to wrap it up, if
like in a ball kind of
part of what attracts you to crime and YouTubing is the drama between different channels, then today was a good day for you. Not much of any legal substance at all that's going to relate to the hearing on the 18th. If drama's the big thing for you, then
oh my gosh, sorry.
It's awful. Find your favorite one, and or subscribe to all three if you haven't already, and see what they say about each other. But you're not gonna not really missing out anything on the case. There's no way to tell from what exhibits have been listed. The Greeno one that we did, was much more specific about what relates to him, and did a much better job, even though, I think respectfully, that statement of truth, can't remember the title, but is reading into things that just can't be read there. We've got, there's no way to tell
what those witnesses are going to be called for, but like we've been saying the last 2 days, much, if not all of what it seems like they have information on, and I suspect because some of these statements, statement of truth and the emails do acknowledge that they provided some information either to the court or to the DA, then out of an abundance of that the DA would have had to provide everything that was provided to him to the defense, and they're under Brady and a bunch of other different things, and so they did that. Hennessy had a chance to go through them, and then he listed the 15 or 16 documents, whatever it was, that might have a potential to be used. And, if there's any chance he might need one of those documents, he has to list it. Because if he doesn't, he's automatically precluded. So out of an abundance of caution, he listed it. And if it becomes appropriate, which much of it I really can't see how it would be tied into the contempt hearing, that's my assessment of it. And I'm not really the person to sort out for everybody about who's right or wrong about what's happened over the last 7 years between different content providers, nor would I even
Attempt to
engage in that. But y'all can sort that out for yourselves. But from a legal perspective, none of the three I saw anything that would bear on what the issues are directly. That's my take on it.
Well, that's basically kind of what we wanted to know. You being a lawyer, will this have any relevance really at all or not? Or is it just words on paper and, they're just saying their piece to whatever? Like I said, I don't know about all this drama. Anyone that knows me knows that my face and head is down. I hear about it sometimes, but I could care less about it because all I care about, to be honest, is Abby and Libby and justice for Abby and Libby, and to get the trial underway. Let's go. Let's do it. Fuck all this other nonsense. No offense. Fuck all this other nonsense shit, and just go about, get to that point. That's what I'm waiting for. And Charmaine, too, just wanted to know if these had any impact, will have any impact really on the case. We were just kind of confused ourselves.
Yeah, like what not the posters or whatever, not the YouTube end goal. Obviously, we can't get inside their heads, but more what, if any, legal ramifications would this have on Richard Allen's trial? Because my biggest concern, and I enjoy my view from the fence where I am firmly perched, I can see things from both sides, but I'm really concerned about after the trial. Appeals and things that could come up on appeal, and it just everything just adds to it.
I really don't see anything on an appeal with it, other than whether they should have filed a separate criminal action, if it's criminal contempt, whether the judge has to make specific findings that the conduct for criminal contempt is willful and knowingly, and I'm just the first two. The first one it didn't ever make the connection for me on again, saying that there's these accusations.
Very
There's
good.
a campaign, and I'm just and trying to intimate or suggest that it's coming from defendants, but they never really hook that up. And to me, um, can't say what the intent or reason behind it, but all three of them have a very, very similar pattern and structure. You don't need to be a lawyer to figure that out, but if you put all three side by side, um, that they have a very, very similar structure, which that could be coincidental, but it seems to be getting out there. um, old wounds, bad blood, drama. um, that's the way um, I see it. But it certainly could be they think that what they've written and what they've filed is going to be a legitimate help to the court, but it's not, because it's not addressing the issues of what's before the court on the 18th. And I think Hennessy just wanted to list some of this stuff to show the court how crazy this stuff is, and not what's being said or advocated, but just
Yeah.
this is this seems to have been a circus in YouTube and social media long before Allen was arrested, and it's even referred to. And so,
Yeah.
I worry about her seeing this, how much of a circus the whole YouTube thing is, and I'm hoping that doesn't make her say no to any cameras at all, because she doesn't want to deal with any potential crazy YouTube stuff.
I think that ship has long since sailed.
I
I
know.
still have
I
a tiny bit of hope.
We gotta hope. We gotta hope. We gotta hope.
Everything that comes out just puts another nail in that coffin. I don't think there's a chance in hell we're going to see this trial on camera.
Yeah.
So there's the question about can it impact if you have citizens that are going out and trying to do things to help the state. It can rise to a level that it can impact the constitutionality of a trial. And two quick examples. One is the murder of Binion in Las Vegas by his girlfriend, supposedly with the help of her boyfriend, side lover. The Binion family, very wealthy in gaming, and they weren't able to develop a case through Metro. Metro is a combined police and sheriff's office in Las Vegas for Clark County. And so they hired Dave Groover and another investigator to go out, and essentially they conducted their own private investigation, and the defendants were convicted, and they were able to go up and get a new trial based on information and evidence came in that would have been illegal if police had done it. In effect, that these private investigators were an agent of the police. So it was retried family friend Tony Sarah came in and got a not guilty verdict on the murder. The other case where family members and community came out against somebody was coincidentally the name of the victim was Sonny somebody, and it was the Von Bulow. I don't have the complete name, but that happened in that case too. And Dershowitz but wasn't her name Sonny? And the Von Bulow case, supposedly giving her shots of insulin to cause her to die of diabetic shot. Y'all are way too young to remember it, but there was a movie about it. But look up Klaus von Bülow.
Sonny von Bulow.
I do know what you're talking about. I can't recall.
Sonny and Kaliz, SP74 says.
Yeah. So, but that's kind of what happened, and how he was able to get a new trial is that family and community, they were just trying at every turn to dig up dirt on him and record him and all of this stuff. So are we at that level now? No. Could it turn into that? Absolutely, if you have people actively going out. But it's more about what I don't see. I don't see in any of these three submissions direct letters. It's kind of what you see in the community that I'm in with one of the lead detectives and he's told me this, and it would be totally inappropriate for that lead detective to tell anybody those kind of things. But I just see a lot of it, not saying these three individuals, but I've seen people come into the chat here on this channel and say, oh yeah, I know, did y'all know about this? And I don't know, maybe Ivy can tell us what the what the trait or what the high is about having people think serious information about something that you don't, and what kind of personality or diagnosis where that's the thing that somehow gets you through life, is that having people believe that you have a supply line, a communications line to all of the significant information in a case, but I see it all the time. People will pop in, and just depending on the channel, and then they get called out right away. And heard Sonny say, I didn't see what was happening in chat, but she said, look, no, I'm not going to put that thing up. I haven't vetted it. I don't know anything about it. I need to review it. There's been too much false information and false documents and false this and that circulated in this case. I just find it fascinating how much in this case you see. I mean, on Reddit, not really over on Reddit anymore, except about final albums. and collecting and trading vinyl albums, but on cases, there's just people state things as fact all the time. It's kind of the culture, and then it's almost a game. They'll state something, and then people will spend a considerable amount of time pointing out why it's inaccurate, and then thing goes to the next argument. They pivot, and they'll make up something else that's not supported by the facts, and a lot of cases like that. And that just seems to be the strategy. And until you recognize it, you kind of get led down those paths a lot. But I just hadn't seen it this much in this case. But with this stuff coming up, a lot of the stories are resurfacing, and especially that GW episode kind of brought up some. But I really don't think any of these folks that submitted a submission have anything to worry about. I don't, number one. And then number two, even if they aren't worried about anything, I don't, and apparently sincerely feel that what they submit is going to help the court in some way. It doesn't appear to me to be germane to any of the issues, and I suspect is going to go ignored. And then, just listing the people as potential witnesses, that too may have been an abundance of caution, and we'll just need to see if any are appearing voluntarily, or if they're not appearing voluntarily, whether they're going to be subpoenaed. And then, are they within Indiana? Are they outside of Indiana? There's a bunch of hoops you have to go through to bring somebody by subpoena from another state. Can be done, but we're only a week away.
From the 18th. Yep. Okay. I do have to wrap this up though, you guys, because like I said, we have another live in like less than 45 minutes, and I need to
get her into the store
on that. So with that being said, is there anything else, last thing you have to say, anybody, before we head off? And
no,
Travis,
just leave us here. You can leave.
No, I have to go we have to do a live on the stream, and just
come back in 45 minutes. We'll be here. Can't guarantee that the drapes will still be hanging, or the furniture. You'll be able to sit on any of the furniture, but
yes,
we'll have a good time.
Absolutely.
Plus, my husband's home, and he brought me home a sundae from Dairy Queen. So I'm gonna with that down. As I was listening to you all saying, you started talking about diabetic, and I'm like, just ignore that ice cream that my husband's bringing me, because I'm diabetic. Just ignore that. Anyways, you guys. Okay, thank you guys, Ivy, Charmaine, Travis, thank you especially so much for clearing things up. Ivy, you're always wise and smart and beautiful, even though you hide behind your camera there. Charmaine, you're just wise. No, just kidding. No, I just kidding. Charmaine,
I don't even know why I come here anymore.
You love the abuse. Just stop, okay?
Charmaine, you're ruining the channel.
Totally. I must be. Aspen is working. We begged him to take a break and come on. But
he was working in the hair today. But anyways, so thank you guys all so much. Again, Travis, thank you for your like I said, information. It was, like I said, whatever with the drama part of it, just wanted to know, what possibly might happen with this information, if nothing at all. I don't think much will happen with it myself. I think that I think that I'm just going to wait for the 18th, and we'll all see what happens.
Not me. I don't even particularly. I'm not worried about that even. I want to get to May 13th. Let's
Well,
go.
I want to get to that too.
Let's
but-
get this show on the road.
I'll see you guys later tonight. I gotta go to the store, get some food.
Okay. All right.
Bye.
Thank you, everybody. Have a good
Pleasure
night.
as always, Travis. Good night.
Thanks, Travis. Thanks,
Good
Shamil.
night. Thanks, everybody. Thank
Okay.
you.
Bye-bye. And boom.
A Norfolk night, the world is cold. We stand surrounded, we are not alone. Within my reverie, there's holy light. Without an honor, we stand and fight. And